Hello, friends. I hope this is working. Good evening. And I just want to say a big Happy New Year to you.
Hello, friends.
And this is working. So that's great. I am going to try to check the comments on my phone. I am on Zoom right now. But if you are watching, please comment below and I will do my best to check the comments periodically as I go along. And I just want to wish you a happy new year. I'm so glad I was able to finally do a video. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to make a video over the last couple weeks, but doing my best. And I had a really great interview with Kimberly Palm. That was a really good one. And been learning a lot of really cool information. This is going to be a super duper 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 juicy video. So I'm going to do my best to try to just get everything in. So this might be a little longer, but I promise you it's going to be jam-packed full of way more information than you need to know. But there is just so much there's so much to report on right now. And also a lot of great information. And also, of course, they're putting a lot of new fear tactics out there. So just want to make you abreast and aware of what they're trying to push now, like the whole pandemic 2.0, which is not going to happen because we do not consent. So let me just get started and get you up to speed and just run through all of these notes. And then I have some items that I'm going to go through a little bit more in depth. So I think the first thing I want to start with is that, about Andrew Tate arrest. Andrew Tate is someone who I had only just heard people talk about. I hadn't really listened to what he had to say directly. I just heard Laya, I forgot her last name, really pretty girl that has talked about him several times and done interviews on the street. Apparently a lot of people hate him because he's really controversial, but he's helping people bust their programming, get out of the matrix, and take control of their own lives, stop being a victim, helping them empower themselves. Apparently, he said a lot of things about women, which I have heard some of the things that he said. But I think that some of that is him just getting a reaction out of people. There's a certain level of strategy to his madness, like methods to his madness. And he was a chess player up until the age of 8, like a professional one who traveled. And so there's a method to his madness. He actually is helping a lot of men, helping a lot of men become strong men again, and helping them bring out their strength and their courage by empowering them and letting them know that, no, you're not a victim. You're going to get through this. You can get through this. Empowering them with financial information, how to make your own money, physical advice. Andrew Tate used to be a fighter. So he encourages people to go to the gym and work out. And so I hadn't really heard any of what he had said. I had just heard what other people had said about him, which, of course, the left and, those people really hate him. And he's a huge target because he has a lot of influence. He has a big audience, and he's not able to be controlled, and they don't like that. So he's made it very clear. He said many times that the matrix is what he calls it, the cabal or the system, what they do to people like him. First, they try to silence them. Second, if that doesn't work, silence them by discrediting them and, censoring them, that kind of thing, which he was censored off of all these platforms and payment processing things within a course of a couple of days. All of them did it. And that was about a little over 3 months ago. So he, if that doesn't work, canceling him. If that doesn't work, then they arrest him. And if that doesn't work, then they kill him. And he's been very clear, this is their strategy. And I think he's prepared himself his whole life, because I think he's been arrested a time or two before. So he always knew that this would happen. So very possible that he is now under white hat protection. And I don't think we have to fear for his safety or his family's safety or anything like that. I think this is all still just meant to happen. And I do believe he got out of jail and he's back at home. He made a little video. He said that all of his electronics are missing. Like literally, they took all of his computers, all of his laptops, all of his like video equipment from his studio. Literally, they raided his compound in Romania. He lives in Romania. And they took all of his electronics. So, whoa, that's a big thing. But he's been very clear that, the Matrix is after him. This might happen. And he predicted this 6 months ago. So it just makes him more credible, in my opinion. That's how I feel about that. Another thing that happened is Netanyahu got elected again for his 6th term, which a lot of people thought that wasn't going to happen, but it happened. And another thing that happened is Trump's January 6th subpoena was withdrawn. They don't want Trump up on the stand for the whole January 6th insurrection. What they don't want to do is have Trump up there with an open mic. So they canceled it, said, oh, never mind. We don't want you as a witness. Never mind. They withdrew Trump's January 6th subpoena. So what does that say about them? They don't want him outing the truth, basically. So that's a good thing. Another thing that happened recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Barbara Walters died. Surprising. Also, there was news that Nancy P. Was no more, was with a rope around her neck type situation. And there has been a lot of confirmation from different people with different white hat sources around that. So I do believe that that is true about Nancy P. Another thing that happened just today, Pope Benedict died. And he was the last pope, and he was also the only pope in 600 years that resigned. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, look, there are some people on. Hi, guys. Hi, welcome, Dee, Sunshine, Cindy. Dee, I'm glad you liked the interview with Kimberly. Yes, and Andrew Tate. Great. So let me just keep going and give you some more information. I'm so glad you're here. Happy New Year, everybody. So like I said, Pope Benedict died today. They were setting that up over the last couple days. The current Pope made some comments that, Pope Benedict was really sick, and apparently he died today, which he's probably been dead for a while, similar to the Queen, but that happened publicly today. Another thing that happened, hell froze over. On Christmas Eve, a place called Hell in Michigan completely froze over. And the last time it froze over was like -9. On the 24th, on Christmas Eve, when it froze over, it was -25. and it was completely frozen over. The pictures are pretty crazy because it says like, welcome to hell, and they've got gates, and the whole thing is just like completely frozen. So Sarge, who has his own channel, he made the comment, like, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, QFS is going to happen when hell freezes, and when hell freezes over. Well, hell froze over. I do believe QFS is on its way. Lots of talk about QFS lately, and I do have some more information on that I'm going to get back to. So let me just keep running through this. The JFK files came out, and I think that was like maybe a week or probably almost 2 weeks ago now, that a lot of files were unredacted and made public about the death of JFK and who was really responsible. C_A 5-star trust responsible. And the Twitter files that has been happening, there's a lot of talk about Elon. There's people who are like, but Elon's a bad guy, and then people like me who are like, oh, but Elon is exposing truth, and Elon is doing good stuff right now. Well, I think it could be both. Like, yes, he was born into the cabal. He was raised in the cabal. Jessie Zaboter has actually said publicly that she participated in rituals and experimentation type military things at military bases in their childhood together, where literally E, she calls him, was with her at these military bases as a child together, military conducting spiritual warfare experiments with children. And she claims that E was one of the people that was there during that time. His mom, Mae Musk, she's pure evil. You can see it like written all over her. I think she may have died. I'm not sure about that right now. I need to look that up. But I do believe that Elon Musk is a gray hat, meaning when Trump put out the announcement, which he did publicly, that you have 24 hours to turn yourself in. This is just a theory, and I don't know if it's true, but there are people saying that Elon Musk was one of the people that turned himself in and said, okay, what do we need to do to work together? And Elon Musk is a chess piece in the game, and he actually is a very valuable chess piece because he not only had the money, but he had access to Starlink, to the satellites that he's been installing around Earth. He's got the Tesla, the car line. He's got a lot. But he doesn't get to keep any of that because he's guilty. But people negotiated with the White Hats to basically work with them so that they can stay alive. And Elon is playing his part. This is part of his part. They've used us for so long. Let's think about this. Let's think about how the Black Hats have used us, good people, as puppets for them, like doing what they should be doing themselves. Like, we're the ones working hard, making the money, and they're just sitting there taking it. Well, for the first time in history, the good guys are puppeteering the bad guys to work for them. So in my opinion, Musk is a gray hat, and he's doing a service so that he can get in God's good graces. So the Twitter files continued. more and more stuff keeps coming out, and I'm not super knowledgeable on that. But you can check for yourself on all the Twitter files. Athletes, celebrities suddenly dying, even children, sudden adult death syndrome, SADS, is the newest reason that all of these people are dying, apparently. And the experts are saying, we have no idea what it is. Well, we know what it is. We're not stupid. Bob Marley's grandson, Joe Mersa, was a healthy 31-year-old that recently died suddenly. Rest in peace, Bob Marley's grandson. What a shame. This is interesting. Haiti has the lowest death rate of COVID, but they didn't do any of the, but yet they have the lowest death rate. So, in the world. So you can figure that one out for yourself. This is something that came out too. I just shared something on my community tab. So if you want the full video, you can go look for yourself. Just go to my community tab. Let's see. Cool. Okay, I got the chat on. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I just posted something. So if you want to look at it and see for yourself, you can look at the community tab. But basically, unfortunately, it's totally outing Phil G. And I was always one of the ones who's like, okay, Phil G, he's been attacked a lot, and he's probably one of the good guys because he's been attacked so much. And, there was some court stuff, and apparently he went through all of his stuff and was honest about it. But that wasn't actually true. Like, he actually did have relations with a 14-year-old girl, according to Scranton newspaper. And Cold Beer Confessional goes through all of the court documents. It's almost a 2-hour interview. So if you want to watch that, you're welcome to do that. But basically, he goes through all the communication where he literally had relations with this girl, this 14-year-old girl. And he was like in his 30s. So upper 30s. So we just got to be careful who we follow. And he seems to be one of the ones that's being exposed right now. He also doesn't deny it. Like, he literally admits to this. So, and I think he's been guilty on a couple things. So there's that. And if you want more information, you can go watch that full video. But literally, he lays it all out, and they are literal court documents from Scranton newspaper that has all been published. It's all public information. So if you want more information about that, you can see that. Rolling Stone did an article about it, calling him out as a person. Well, I just want to let you know and just remind you, for the people that don't know, there is no such thing as this. There is no such thing as QAnon. There is no such thing as that. So if you see that, if you see headlights about that, they are talking about someone who is literally a psychological operation baddie. So if you see this describing someone, or if someone describes themselves or says this word, you know that they are a fake and they are not in the know, because there is no such thing as this. There is only this, and there is this. This are the ones who are doing the military operation. I've dropped my little note here. These people here, the Anons, they are the people that spread the military intel. These people are in charge of the military intelligence operations. These people are the people who spread the military intel, and they're two separate things. So if you ever see it together, that's a big red flag. If anybody says that they're part of this, that's a big red flag. Okay? Just so we make that clear and make sure that that's clear for everyone. Those who are in the know, but also just want to remind you, because there's articles out there, like, for example, the article about Phil G, which is being exposed as a psyop, pretty much. So, let's see. We talked about Barbara Walters, talked about hell freezing over, SADS, Pope Benedict. We've got the January 6th Brunson case coming up on January 6th. Apparently, that could be a way to expose everything to all the normies and make everyone aware of the fact that what they've done is illegal. If you're not familiar, the January 6th Brunson case is like a technicality, which it went to the Supreme Court. They are going to be making a decision on January 6th if it moves forward or if it does not. But this is decision by the Supreme Court because the 10-day review was not made. Now, just for the record, Janine is the one who brought this to light first. Janine actually made this announcement on her private channel and went over this January 6th, apparently what could happen on January 6th. She was the first to do that, even before 107. But this is, the 10-day review that was required by law, that we as citizens, tax-paying citizens, are required to, for our security, like for our national security. They are required to make sure that these things are legit, and they did not take the 10-day review to make sure this was legit. Therefore, the decisions made on January 6th, what was that? Was that last year or this year? That was last year, right? 2021? Or was it this year? All these years are just like, it's like, this feels like one long year, but it's actually been like almost 3 years. So it's just complicated. But yeah, that whole January 6th thing that happened, 2021, I believe, that was illegal. So they're going to be making a decision if this goes through or not. This is a possible way. Derek Johnson, Louis Herms, and Michael Jaco, they describe this as it's already done in the background. This is just for optics. This is, a possible way that they can show the people, the public. So let's pray that this happens. God, let's see some justice ring on January 6th, 2023. We want to see justice ring. We want to see the Supreme Court say that this is going to go forward, and they are going to be making a decision because we, as tax-paying citizens of this country, sovereign beings, are entitled to free and fair elections. So we need to have that 10-day review to make sure these are legit. So there is a lot of stuff coming forth about the quantum financial system. So let me share a little clip with you. This is from my friend Michelle Moore Winder, who has contacts of her own. She doesn't follow anybody. She gets all of her own information, and she posts all the proof of everything that she talks about on her Telegram channel. If you want to follow her Telegram channel, it's pretty juicy. She's got literally everything on there. Trump's tax returns, Hunter Biden's laptop. She's got the original NASARA QFS documentation on there. If you scroll way back, all you have to do is go to Unredacted Truth on Telegram, and you can find that. And so this is Michelle Moore Winder. You can follow her on Facebook. She literally goes live like almost every weekday at 7 p.m. Central. But this is something that she says about QFS and the new rainbow currency.
It's not as bad as it is. Brainwash us into thinking it's not as bad as it is. I have spoken with a banker who is in charge of at least 3 banks in the United States who has actually physically with his eyes seen the new USTN, United States Treasury note, which are backed by assets. In the United States, I believe it's all backed by gold and silver. Again, it may be backed by other things. We do have a lot of natural resources in the United States, but as far as I know at this point, all of our new money, our USTN, our new Treasury notes, my friend has actually seen them on pallets, in plastic wrap, in bank vaults, ready to be released. The United States is ready to go at the go-ahead from our real commander-in-chief, guys. We're getting very, very close. And it was supposed to happen before Christmas. It was actually supposed to happen Thanksgiving weekend, the 4-day weekend. And more corruption was discovered, more corruption rooted out, more arrests happened, a lot happening. So be ready.
Also, if you are aware, so let me go here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Okay, so just a quick overview. George Magazine. We're going to switch topics and we're going to go back to QFS. So George 2.0 is the new relaunch of JFK Jr.'s George Magazine. So George 2.0 is the new launch of George Magazine, which launched November of this year. Last month, November was volume 1 or article. What do you call it? Not episode. The first one, like volume issue number 1. December was issue number 2. So this is December's cover. Have you seen this? So literally, it has so much stuff on it. It has a lion protecting a baby, and it says, God's gift to the world, born the great Savior, Jesus Christ. It says, Ukraine Gate. What the legacy media will not tell us about Ukraine. It has this question here. The Twitter question, when do birds sing? When do birds sing? Wasn't that a 17 post? And the answer is when they're stuck, when they're arrested, when they have no other options, and they're forced to tell. When do birds sing? Under interrogation. So you think that happened to, do you think that was a reference to Elon Musk? singing as part of his deal. When do birds sing? Why would they put a Q thing on there if Q wasn't real? Why would they do that? Right here, Charlie Ward and the quantum financial system. It's on the cover, Charlie Ward and the quantum financial system. Okay, why would they put quantum financial system in their magazine if it wasn't real? Like, they don't do conspiracy stuff in this magazine. This magazine is professional, political magazine. Do you remember JFK Jr. was a Democrat? The purpose of this magazine is to bring together the Democrats and the Republicans together. That's the purpose of this magazine. That's why they don't cover bullshit stuff. Pardon my French. They cover real stuff. There's a lot of things they won't talk about, but they will talk about Charlie Ward and the quantum financial system. They have a huge article in George Online interviewing Charlie Ward. Rachel Rightside Blonde wrote the article. And I'm so excited to have met her and get to know her a little bit. She is so much fun. And we have an interview scheduled. I can't wait to do my interview with Rachel Rightside Blonde. It's on January 10th. And that's coming. So mark your calendar if you want. It's January 10th at 11 a.m. Central Time, 110 at 11 a.m. That's a lot of ones. 1111. So I just thought that was interesting. You can go to George Online. I don't have the website on me, but just go to George Online. You can click on it. You can literally look at all the magazines for free. You can view them online for free. So just that cover alone, it says a lot. And it says a lot that they would put Charlie Ward in there. Unless like people have infiltrated this whole thing and used George Magazine's name and gotten all these people that we trust involved, like Gene Ho, who is literally in charge of George 2.0. Gene Ho, Trump's former photographer, is in charge of the whole magazine. And Rachel Rightside Blonde is the content director. She is literally the content director. So let's say a prayer that Chelsea is going to write an article for George Magazine. We're just going to claim it in Jesus Yeshua's name. Chelsea is going to write an article for the February the February issue of George Magazine. I would love to do that. I'm a writer, and that is like a really exciting possible goal for me. And I think I can make that happen. So say a little prayer for me, because that would be so super cool. February of 2023 is going to be the 25th anniversary of when it started. So that's going to be a huge issue, February of 2023. Regardless, George Online, like their magazine, I'm going to order it and order last month's and this month's. And I'm so excited to go through it because it's like so super juicy. So I think I went all through that. And I went through the magazine. So I did go to the Reckoning Fest, and the Reckoning Fest, it was a pretty good time. I got to see Derek Johnson again and talk to his people. And I saw 107. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. He was super busy and, full of people the whole time. But I saw him with my own eyes, and he literally ran up on stage while Rachel was doing her presentation. And it totally threw her off because it was literally her first public speech, her first public presentation, I think, ever. And he ran up on stage with her, and she's like, what are you doing? People were taking pictures of him, and like baby Trump came in at the end of that and was like, we didn't tell you Juan was coming up on stage. He just ran up on stage, but if you took a picture of him, you need to delete it. We're going to ask for the honesty policy. Like, if you took a picture of Juan, you need to delete it off your phone. It's like, excuse me? This is a freedom event. He didn't say no pictures. He's literally on stage. People have every right to take a picture if they want to. But there was a lot of security. There was like security at every entrance and exit, and he was very well insulated the whole time. It was just like Janine described, with the line that, you know, people line up to get a signature from him, and he talks so much that the line never moves, so they just stand there for hours and then they never get to talk to him, which is crazy. But I did get to meet some pretty cool people. I got to meet Man of Truth, who he has a channel. I can't think of it. I'm blanking out on his name right now. I know his name, but he's really awesome. He's an older guy, white hair. He has a channel called Man of Truth. He does a lot of coverage about Q and the JFK Jr., and he knows 107 personally. He seems to have figured a lot of things out. He's very, very smart guy. Man of Truth and Rachel, they were the ones that actually started singing when Juan was on stage, and that was a super special moment where like the whole audience broke out in song, and they started that, which was super cool. I also got to meet Melissa Red Pill, and she was super friendly, super awesome, super sweet. I got to talk to Gene Ho. He was super friendly and like really awesome. I got to meet Shannon Miles, who is like a 8 or 10-year-old, maybe he's 10 years old, patriot, a young patriot who started making his own little videos with like General Flynn and, you know, other things. So he's making little like Lego movies about people in the patriot movement. He's going to be doing an interview with us also on January 10th at 5:00 Central Time. So it was pretty good. I got to meet a lot of people. And that's about it. So this is something that I thought was interesting. So I have always not subscribed to the flat earth theory. And I mean, 107 said it was straight from the CIA, and it's not true. And there's many people that says, no, it's not true. It's the, you know, the flat earth theory. But I recently heard a video from Rising Phoenix Aurora that was pretty interesting, and she describes how she has channeled this information. She channels a lot of information. Excuse me. She channeled like a whole book, which is like a history of our galaxy. I'm just going to play it for you, and then you can make a decision on what you think. I just thought it was fascinating. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on the whole flat versus round or toroidal, which is, it is a toroidal field. It is a toroidal field of energy, but you know, the shape of it, who knows at this point? I don't think anybody really knows, but this is a really interesting theory, and it puts a whole new spin on the flat earth. So let me let you hear this, and then we can discuss it. If you want to see the whole video, I also posted it on my community tab. And she is Rising Phoenix Aurora. And the video was called something about Tartaria.
It's going to be in book 2. This is information that I got maybe over a year ago that I started beginning to channel. The Flat Earth module, Flat Earth map. Okay, let me show you. And I've given you glimpses, a few glimpses of it. Time is kept by the sun, but time, Earth is a clock. Through quantum physics, it's a clock. Here's our centerpiece. And as the time turns, the hour hand turns, the moon cycles turn. Energetically, I know that this is a formula that is used for that they use in CERN and they stole. They know that it's a flat Earth and that there's a dome over it, right? And they know that there are time portals that as you turn the clock on this flat Earth, that they can travel through and time travel through. So this is stuff we don't know about. Okay? All right, make sure you guys share this video as far as you can. It's so important. Recommend that Antarctica series to as many as you can. Share it to your groups, to your friends, to your family. Let's wake up these people. In the last video, someone asked, what is going to be our biggest catalyzing awakening? This is going to be when people realize that they are in a flat Earth, in a dome, and they have us trapped inside the ring of the Antarctica, and they are outside and inside, back and forth, whenever they feel like it, because they sold this technology from the Tartarians, going back and forth to the tunnels. Okay, continue.
So that resonated with me because the other day I was sitting there thinking, we're trapped. And I had a voice in my head that said, doesn't it make you nervous to know that you're trapped? You know, to know that literally there's a dome over us and we are literally trapped within it. And my mind answered back and it was like, well, we only know what we know. So we don't know that we're trapped. Like the majority of us don't know that we're actually trapped because this is our world and like life's got to be worth living. Otherwise you don't want to live. Right. So like, but I've always felt that. I've always felt that feeling that, yes, it is true. Like we are literally trapped in a dome. You know, what's that movie, like that Jim Carrey movie, like that was them telling the truth. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting. And she shares this map, which I can share the name of if anybody wants the name. I'd have to get it, but this map is literally like the globe is around it. You know, this is like Africa. So this is like South America, and then America is up here, and then Africa is over there. It's hard to see right here, but literally it's like we're surrounded by Antarctica, and our Antarctica is like an ice ring circle around us. And then this line right here, you know, this line, like the equator, is actually just the sun, the earth, the stars spinning around, which it actually spins counterclockwise. And that is our day, you know, how things rotate, which kind of makes a lot of sense that it's like the earth is like more roundish. Let's look at the United Nations logo. That's what it looks like. It's like flattish where everything's in the center, and then there's an Antarctica ice ring around it, and the world is like a clock face where, you know, the sun, moon, and stars rotate around this axis, the equator. So it's just like different from what they've described to us, where it's like the whole earth is like the clock face of a clock. So I don't know if it's true or not. It just resonated a little bit. And when she relates it to the whole Tartaria thing, I mean, that's pretty interesting because she shows a lot of pictures of people, you know, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, walking around with giants, literal regular people and giants together walking around. So watch that whole episode. It's really fascinating. I'm very familiar with Tartaria. I've watched that whole Iwarnon 5-hour series, which is really good. But she kind of sums it up, provides evidence. You know, she shares like the pictures of the Chicago World's Fair, what these incredible buildings were and, you know, looked like back then. And I've actually been to one of those buildings, the building that she shows with like these big, huge doorways. It's a museum in Chicago that has like dinosaurs in it. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but probably people have been there. But you can tell like it's a Tartarian building. And I remember having that feeling, you know, when I was there with my college friends, like, wow, this is like something really special. You know, how come they don't build buildings like this anymore? Why can we not reproduce any of this stuff now? We don't have the technology now to reproduce these buildings. So it's pretty obvious that they've dumbed everybody down, and we used to be a lot greater because the evidence is there. Like we couldn't even reconstruct the pyramids now if we wanted to. So like, it's so clear, you know, the mud floods happened. And when you dig under stuff, like there's literally like more buildings and stairways and all kinds of things underneath. So if you go through that video, it's really interesting, the whole Rising Phoenix Aurora video about Tartaria. And that's what that clip came from. So I think that is about everything. Does anybody have any questions? And I was gonna do a little card pull if you want. Oops. Museum of Natural History in Chicago. Thank you, Dee. Appreciate that. So VC Lucky says, what about these underground cities under Florida? Yeah, I've been hearing about that a lot lately, and possible giants coming to life in Florida. I don't know, but there's underground cities in lots of places, not just Florida, you know, like under the Pentagon is where Crystal City is. According to Jesse Zaboter, to realize your spiritual nature is the exact reverse process of creation. Be still and know you are God's source. Be still and know you are of God's source. Still your body and chatty egoic mind. Okay, your spiritual nature is not limited. It says, so Nancy says, now we are believing newspapers. No, it's actual court documents. These are actual court documents published by the Scranton newspaper. So it says Janine has looked into Phil G and says he is good. Yeah, I know that. But he's literally, his marriage ended because he was having a relationship with a 14-year-old. So there's not really any denying that. And we can't make excuses for sexual predators, regardless if it was consensual or not, according to a 14-year-old. He was in his 30s. Yeah, and these are literal court documents, not just a news story. Okay, and this says, when observed by our awareness or higher spiritual self, things gets put in order, and your spiritual starts or when to show it. Yeah, I mean, our spiritual selves are coming alive. Our spiritual selves are waking up. We can see the truth. And I didn't want to see the truth about Phil G. And I still I listened to only like 30 minutes of that interview. So I need to listen to the other hour and a half of it. It's like 2 hours. Literally, he goes through the court documents line by line. So I wanted to trust Phil G too. But we can't turn our heads to abuse. That's the whole thing. Like, this is all about the children. And if there was a 14-year-old victimized, we cannot turn our heads to that. But, everybody can watch that or not and make their own decision. I'm not telling anybody to follow or not follow anybody else. Just wanted to bring this out there that people are exposing themselves. And I think that's it. So let me pull a couple cards. Sending you guys so much love and light. I'm so excited that you're here. And I'm here just hanging out by myself for this New Year's. So happy New Year's to everybody. I'll be trying to make out with myself at midnight. Just kidding. Got these cards. The two, while I'm shuffling, one is the Magician and one is Death and Rebirth. So those are some pretty good cards. Dang, man, I think I just mixed them up. Did I? No, I didn't. I'm still learning how to shuffle them right so you don't switch them up, you know what I mean? So I want to shuffle them a couple times. Okay. All right. So spirit, only the highest source, only for the greatest good. Please give me a message for the collective, the people that are watching now and the people that are going to see this in the future. We'll start with 3 cards. Okay. So first, we've got the Ace of Wands. Then we've got the Moon. And then we've got the 8 of Swords. So for this 8 of Wands, new ideas, potential, inspiration, illumination, creativity, the nature of consciousness, the interconnectedness of all the things, the ability to manifest. We have a brilliant future. And when we literally ignite our creativity and our inspiration, we are truly powerful and we can manifest our will. So whatever you want, if you imagine it, write it down, think about it, visualize it, meditate on it, speak it into being, say affirmations, you will have it. And the Moon, so we're going to keep our eyes open and aware right now. And we're not going to let any illusions affect us. So the Moon can be illusions. And, think about psychological operations with the Moon. We're not going to allow ourselves and our energy to be affected by stuff coming our way. Some things that people are saying that like pandemic 2.0 is coming, this big illness, that's a mixture of different diseases is coming. There's going to be another lockdown. All of these things are fear. Anything that's fear, literally, they're trying to predictive programming, make it happen. So we're not going to allow that. We're just not. And let me pull up the moon so I just make sure I cover anything. So, the light side of the moon, it's like illusions, hidden truths, unknown, like trust your intuition, the watery nature of the unconscious mind, mystery, symbolism, perception, dreams. Pay attention to dreams right now. The shadow side, which if it was upside down, which it wasn't, but the shadow side, like what fears are blocking you, difficulty separating reality and illusion. So think about, what is real and what is just fear, and that might help. Linear thinking, inability to process, inability to have a spiritual experience or a mystical experience. So embrace your intuition and embrace your imagination, find your inspiration. Those are all things that are going to help you have a mystical experience and release your mental confusion, misinterpretation, anxiety, and fear. So with this, we can say, I am safe and I reach new levels of unconscious knowing as I surrender to the will of the universe. And we're going to trust that the universe has our backs and we have good things coming. This is a scary card. And I think this is where we're at right now. This is the Eight of Swords. She's all tied up in the reflection. She's got different crows. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 crows she's all tied up, that are tying her in different ways. And this is the reflection of the mirror. But in reality, here she is over here, and she's not tied up at all. So that is just this image alone. It's like, as if we are living in a cage under a dome, and we think we're locked, and we think that this is the only way. But what we don't realize is that the cage is not locked. We can just push the door open and walk right out. What we can do to empower ourselves, we can start with our own physical health and realize all of the labels that they've put on us have only been put there in order to push us towards medication, which actually at its source comes from plants. And then they had to do something to make it synthetic, when all we have to do to literally get the cures we need is to go straight to that plant, those plant source. So think of our own health as, all the doctors, like the diagnosis and all the labels that have put on mental illnesses, depression, bipolar, have they diagnosed you with autoimmune disease? All of these labels, they are labels, and it's literally a fake trap. And you can choose to step out of that trap at any moment. So, swords. Let me pull this up. So this is really like, oh, that's pentacles. I was like, that really doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is really like feeling stuck, but we're not stuck. Just remember that. It feels like we're stuck right now, but we're really not. So feeling stuck, time to open our eyes, time to unveil the truth, having more options than you thought. This is an opportunity to let go of our limiting beliefs, let go of a limiting story, an old story, let go of the labels, the diagnoses, the shadow side to this, being a victim, feeling helpless, using your stories, using your diagnoses as a crutch. No more of that. And past experiences, using them as excuses to remain shackled. So this is a gentle reminder that you create your reality. Look beyond the veil of illusion that your current limitations are projecting. If you are feeling trapped with no path forward, remember this too is a perspective that can be lifted. When you choose sovereignty over victimhood, you become the fierce wielder of choice. You can free yourself from your shackles and shift your outcome dramatically by accepting you are the one person who is responsible for your happiness. Create infinite portals of possibility by becoming the solution. Be the change. I always say that. Be the change you want to see in the world. You are the one who is responsible for your happiness. Create infinite portals of possibility by becoming the solution. We are never really stuck. You are not stuck. Nurture your soul and spend the time you need to transmute any feelings of helplessness. While we can't control every experience that is put on our path, we can definitely work on how we respond to each one. Let go of old stories and be vigilant of any wallowing, low vibe thoughts that you may be holding on to. Reframe your experiences as lessons and choose to heal. When you look at this, say, I am free to choose my healing and my light. I can heal myself. I heal myself. You can say it. Say, I heal myself now, and I do not consent to any darkness. Any darkness that is sent our way, we now have the right to send it back 100-fold. So any darkness that has come our way, any spiritual attacks that has been put against us, we now return to sender 100-fold. Any spiritual attacks, anyone that has spiritually attacked me, I now return to sender 100-fold. And we just raise our light and we stand tall and we stand proud, stand firm in our truth. And we got this. So let me ask for one more card. Okay. The Judgment, the Judgment card. And it is not upside down, actually. So Judgment, the Judgment card is coming. Justice is coming. Every lie shall be revealed. All of the darkness is coming to light. All of the truth is coming to light. All of the evildoers' time is up. The cabal's time is up. It is now time for justice. We got the Judgment and the Justice card. So these are the two cards for January, the Judgment card and Justice. It is time. We want to see some judgment. We want to see some people arrested. We want to see things come to light. We want justice. We deserve justice. We are entitled to it. We are entitled to our freedom. We are entitled to not only our constitutional rights, but our God-given rights. So this is a great message, and I'm excited. Does anybody have any last questions? Sending you so much love. Yep. Any spiritual attacks, we return to sender 100-fold. And I'm excited. We're not going to accept anything that we are not comfortable with anymore. So we're empowering ourselves and we're embracing the light within us. We're igniting the light in others. And we're not going to continue with past mistakes where we've, given people a pass, and other things, not when clear evidence is shown that there is evil being done. We are going to learn from our lessons, and if there are red flags, we should acknowledge them. And we should just be aware. So, not trying to out anybody here. I'm just trying to make you aware of some things that have happened over the course of the last month. So lots of exciting stuff, and just wishing you a great year. There's a lot of fear being pushed out there. There's a lot of stuff about pandemic, and they're going to try to shut us down again. And there was evidence that came out of a FEMA whistleblower that FEMA was preparing to, release this new bioweapon, and they were preparing their employees for it, which is a mix of different illnesses all combined into one. And it's supposed to be very dangerous. But we didn't fall for the monkeypox, and we're not going to fall for pandemic 2.0. We're smarter than that. We're empowering ourselves with the power of truth. We're sharing a positive message. We're embracing the love within us, and we're choosing not to participate in the fear. So moving onward and upward, sending you guys so much love and light. Happy New Year. Cheers. Sending you boundless love and light to your family and to you. So much love to you guys. We do have a couple awesome episodes coming up. Let me just make sure. Let me just say it real quick. So let's see. So on next Tuesday, January 3rd, I'll be interviewing with Jamie and Robert Agee with Banners for Freedom. They have put up billboards and banners all over the country, and their story is really inspiring. They were on stage at the Reckoning. So that interview is Tuesday, January 3rd at 1:00 p.m. Central Time. And then my interview with Rachel Rightside from George Magazine is on January 10th at 11 a.m. and 5:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, also January 10th, with Shannon Miles, the young patriot who is a child that is currently making a difference. Super inspiring. Send you guys a lot of love and light.